Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to Billing Management System. Today is our lecture number 6 and today I am going to demonstrate the further work inside the sales invoice window that we have seen in the previous lecture. Okay, so let's start and have a look what we have today. Alright, so let's log in and let's go to the sales invoice. And now in the previous lecture I have demonstrated how can you insert the ledgers inside the customer window and inside the customer ledger and inside the shop ledger. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to display the saved records here on the right hand side inside the grid view. Okay, so for that purpose I have to do something, and let's say let me add one more grid. Right, so let us select first, and then again the same customer, the details of the order will be any, and then you can select now the date and then the amount, let's say 80,000 rupees, and then let's say okay, maybe the background color I have changed somewhere. I have to check that where is this, why this is coming white background. Okay, so the sales is a cash, and now click save. Look, the data is saved again, and if I go to the database, I have already in the previous lecture I have displayed you this thing, but once more I have added this because the ledger should be maintained. Let's see what will happen. The previous balance was something, but in the previous lecture you see there was no previous balance. Okay, but in today's lecture I am going to show you that now we have the previous balance. So is it working or not? So let us open the customer ledger. Right click and edit. Here it should have two entries right now, and if you notice here the debit amount is appearing here. Okay, but the problem is with that previous balance, the new balance should become 90,000 rupees. That is the problem. So we have to debug this, that why is it happening, because you have already 10,000. okay, now you have 80,000, so the total should be 90,000. okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so this is what we have to do, but we can create the crystal report, and we can show this balance in the end, but the balance should be 90,000 rupees. okay, so let us debug what is happening at the back end when you save the record. So go to the software and go to the code, and here you are this thing, and no, at this point we are getting the balances. okay, so execute it and now check what is the balance that is coming. Sales invoice, and then ABC. One thing that I think that is happening, I tell you, 1,000 rupees cash and save, and when you come inside, look, the amounts will be fetched out from the procedure. okay, so amounts, let us see what's returned here inside this. Look, 00. So why this has returned 00? So let us see this st_get last balance. So go to the stored procedure, get last balances, modify, and if you see here you have the customer ID. okay, and if I execute this query, select this query at the till the last and copy it, go to the new query and paste here and make it downwards. Now at this point you need the customer ID. So the customers I have, let me open the ID for that customer. okay, the ID is 2, so you have to write here 2, and then let's see what's the result. Look, the balance that is coming here is the last balance is 80,000. there is no date. okay, so here the data is appearing perfectly, but at this point the data is not coming accurate. okay, so you have to recheck it once more. Let's stop this and rerun this and check in more detail. So sales invoice, ABC garments, the customer is same, the order is something different, and the amount is, let's say, 1,000 rupees, and then cash, and then save, you come in again, F11, a variable, a double array is created, and then the procedure get last balances, and then the first thing is the cust ID and the value is 2, okay, same, and then the second thing is the shop ID for the second parameter, okay, and then the value is 1, the shop, and then look, it is giving you an exception, so that's the problem. So what is that exception? Let us see. We have to write here ex. Now okay, we have to restart it because the exception will not display right now. Let's do one more time. The shop is this, the customer is this, and then the data, and then the amount is 1000, and then cache, and then save, and then come here. Okay, because you have changed the module at the back end, so you have to go and rebuild this CRUD module first. So right click and rebuild it, simple. Okay, now start. Because the exception was changed, that's why we have to rebuild that. So ABC, then Bilal, and then order, and then amount. Okay, 1000 rupees, cash, and then save, and then come inside. Look, is it working? Yes. After adding the parameters, you are executing that CMD, but it is showing you exception. So it is said that you need an open connection. So that was my mistake. So the connection was not opened perfectly. So what you have to do, you have to open the connection. So main class dot connection dot open. Okay, that was the mistake. That is why the data was not coming. So copy and paste here, and in fact open right here, close, remove this exception, I don't need now, and then save, and then copy it, copy it, and then after finishing this work, paste it and save. That's it. So the connection is now succeeded. Let us right click and rebuild the module, the CRUD module we have. Okay, rebuild succeeded. Now what we have to do, we have to remove this breakpoint, we have to go here, and we have to write the new query, and we have to truncate the table so that the data will be coming will come in a fresh manner. So alter table, truncate table, customer ledger, and copy, paste. Okay, I have done a mistake here, that's fine. Copy and paste, and it should be the vendor ledger or the shop ledger basically. Okay, now commands completed successfully, both tables are now truncated. Let me show you. Close this, refresh. Look, now there is no data, and same is the case inside the vendor ledger. Let me show you this also. Edit top 200 rows. Look, both tables are blank. These are the ledger tables. Now what I have to do, I have to rerun this code, simple. And let us remove the breakpoint also from this billing window. Yes, I have removed the breakpoint. Now there is no opening balance. Okay, there is no balance at the back end. So first time you are going to save your sales invoice. So it's good practice to change, to debug or to check the problems that you are facing. Okay, so order details is this, amount is, let's say, 1000 rupees, and then it is cash, and then save. Okay, so data is saved. Let us go to the tables and refresh. Okay, amount is there with respect to vendor, and let us open that customer. Where is that? Customer ledger. Here we have the customer ledger. Edit, right click, execute. Look, so 1000 is there. Now for next entry, there the previous balance was 1000. Okay, so it should be there 1000 at the previous balance. So ABC, Bilal is the same customer. Okay, and then the details, and then the order amount, let's say again 1000, and then click here. Okay, what's the problem? Sorry for that. I think there is a problem in the validation. Yes, when you click the add button, now that's the problem that is going on. So we'll see that, no problem. First let us do the current task, order details, and then 1000, and then save. Now it's saved. The balance should be 2000 if I'm not wrong. So right click, execute. So look, because you have debited one more 1000, so the new balance is 2000. The last balance is 2000. And if you see here in the credit amount, in the credit part at the vendor side or the shop side, so execute. So you are, look, the problem is still here. Okay, so you have 2000 as a credit here, so you have to change at this point also. So why this is showing me a problem? Let me go to the software and check. So let us debug it again, and let us add something, and then amount 1000. Okay, and then click OK. This is the problem. I have to resolve this also. Let me go to the billing window, and when you are pressing the add button, the control is about to reset. So let us go to the main class. Where is that main class module? Here we have, and let us go to the reset function, reset enable. Okay, so here you have where are radio buttons? I have the radio buttons here. Okay, so if tab stop is equals to false, then do nothing, else checked equals to false, enabled true, back color is white. So that's the problem. Okay, so here you are going to remove from the radio button. You don't need to write the back colors. Okay, simply you are enabling them. And if the tab stop, so verify that do you have the tab stop enabled. Do we have the tab stop? Where is that tab stop? Let me make it, arrange it group wise, and the tab stop is true. So if the tab stop is true, then that means this condition will run. So this is now fine. So now let us rebuild this main class module. Okay, now let's start and check. So these are little problems, so you have to solve it. Okay, now it's working after clicking on the add button. Okay, so this is the thing, and then amount is 1000, and then click save. So you've come in, and now we have to check out the shop balance. Okay, if dr.has rows while dr.read, here what is received, let us see, 0. That means I have done some mistake. So let us go to the code. Let me close this and close this also. Look, where was that stored procedure? Let me close this also. Okay, I have closed, so no problem. Let us open from your get balances, copy the below line, copy it, new query, paste it. Here you need the shop ID, that is 1. Okay, and then you don't need this thing, and you also don't need this thing also. Execute. Okay, the problem is here. Yes, execute. Okay, there is no balance. So let us see what's the problem here. So select top 1 balance from vendor ledger, inner join shops, shop ID, where shop ID is equals to this, order by this. So this is my vendor ledger table, edit, and let us see the shop ID that we have here. Okay, the shop ID is 2. Okay, so I think I have done a mistake at this point. Billing window, and look, that's the problem. I am inserting the customer ID in with respect to the shop ID. So that's what the mistake, that's why the data was not there. So these are silly mistakes, guys. Please so carefully work and plan and see what you are writing and what you are doing. So what you have to do here, you have to specify the shop drop down. Simple, that's it. So that was a basic mistake that I have done. So all set now. That's what the part of debugging we have. Now let us truncate the things. Where was the truncate query? Here we have truncated once again. The tables are refreshed. Now let us execute and check the final result. Sales invoice, and then click. By default these controls are disabled. I hope you understand that. So I'll do that also. So that's my first order, and the amount is 1000 rupees or 10,000, let's say, the cash, and save. And then after, when you click OK, the data should be displayed here. One thing, when you click add, look, after disabling they are not enabling again. So we have to check the disable reset function also. So okay, open it again and go to the Bilal and then do some order details, and then again 15,000 rupees. Okay, and then credit, and then save, and then okay, done. So now let's go to the database and refresh the vendor ledger. The amount should be minus 25,000. Okay, let me close that first. Now right click and reopen it again. So look, first the credit was 10,000, then 15,000, so final balance is minus 20,000. So you are in minus 25,000 in negative balance. So let us go to the customer ledger, and here if you see, you find the plus 25,000. So both things remains the same. Okay, one is in debit and one is in credit. Now let us create a new query for getting the sales invoice details. Okay, so what you can write here, create procedure st underscore get ledger detail, yeah, get ledger. Okay, and then as select from customer C on inner join what, shops S on S dot ID is equals to C dot shop ID. Okay, so customer belongs to some particular shop. Now what you need to display, you need to write here customer ID as customer ID, then you find the name of the customer, so the name as customer, and then you need the shop ID, so S dot ID is equals to shop ID. Okay, and then you need S dot name as shop, and then what else you want to display here, the details, the date, the amount, the type, the shop, and then the posted by. So for that purpose you have to specify an inner join with respect to the customer ledger CL, and then okay, one more thing that I must mention here is that the details that you wanted to display here is with respect to either it is with respect to the customer or it is with respect to the shop. Okay, so that's the problem. So here you can display with the help of in the way of customer also and in the way of shop also. Right, so we have to be very careful in loading this data. So on C dot customer ID is equals to CL dot customer ID. Okay, and then what you have to do, you have to apply inner join, and you have to write here vendor ledger VL on. Okay, what are the columns remaining? Okay, the date and the amount. So we have the date here. Okay, first we are not going to join this, simply call here CL dot look, date is there, yes, date is there as date, and then format. If you call this date or the date from the vendor ledger, both are same, because the data is inserting in at the same date in the two tables. So that's the trick. So dd dash mmm dash yyyy, okay, and then the description also. So the description that is added in this table is also the same inside that vendor table, okay. So that's what the case. So description, and then the date, the description, and then the last is the type and the posted by. So the type is case when cl dot, where is that type? No, I don't have the type here, okay, so I have to remove the type, okay. So but the problem is I have taken the type inside the sales invoice table, and I haven't used the sales invoice table up till now, so I'm omitting the type right now, okay. And one thing that I have to add here is the user. So inner join users u on u dot id is equals to cl dot user id. Where is that? There is no user id. That's also a problem, because you have to use the sales invoice table in order to use this, okay, that this invoice is posted by who, and all the things you have to make mention here inside the customer ledger table also. So what you can do, you can come here and insert, first go to the customer ledger and design, and here you have to specify that who entered this entry inside this customer ledger table, okay. So here you have to mention the user id, and here you have to mention the type, okay, whether that entry was for cash or for credit. So instead of sales invoice table, I am omitting that sales invoice table, and I am writing here what? The type, and that should be the tiny integer. Right now I am making it allowable, null allowable, and user id, okay, and that should be integer. That's it, okay, sorry for that, integer. Now it's fine. So save it. Let's go to the database and truncate the windows, the columns, sorry, the tables. Where was that query? Yes, here we have. So I have truncated again, and now let me close this, and come here and remove these nulls and save. I hope it is clear to everyone. So when the type is cash, then 0 will be inserted, and when the type is check, then 1 will be inserted at this point, okay. So let us go and do the work for this. Close this window, come here, and you have to add two more parameters. Copy and paste and paste, okay. So here you write two different parameters that are, let us go to the insert customer ledger. So insert customer ledger, modify the type and the user id you have to add, right. So add two columns, at the rate type, that is tiny integer, okay, and at the rate user id, that is integer, okay. And here at this point you have to add at the rate type and at the rate user id, okay. So that's it, that's my customer ledger, and you have to do the same inside the vendor ledger also, okay. So go to the vendor table, vendor ledger, and open it and add two columns. So what two columns you have to add? VL underscore type, and you have to write here tiny integer, okay, the spelling mistake I have done again, tiny int, and you have to mention here VL underscore, what do you need? The user id, and then here you can specify what? Integer. Remove these null labels and save. it will show you a warning, and save. Okay, and now let's go to the insert vendor. Where is that? Insert vendor ledger, modify, and then add that 2 columns inside this stored procedure also. So copy from here to that copy, and come here and paste. Okay, so type in the user ID and then go to the end of this query and then copy these 2 columns and then paste it at the last, in the last point here. Okay, so that's it. So that's my vendor ledger procedure. Now you have to add here. So let us copy this at the type, so specify type, and then the user ID. So you need the user ID also. So first thing is type, put it here, and then you need the user ID. That's my user ID. And how can you pick up the type? I have commented out this code. So type I have taken already at the top, if you see, at this ternary operation. Okay, so if the cache RB is checked, then the value will become 0, and if the cache RB is not checked, then that means the type is 1. So what I can do, I can come here and specify here the type with the variable type that I have created. And for user ID, I have already mentioned you login dot user ID. That's my login module, and I have created a property to get the user ID. Simple. Now these 2 things should be added at the end of this one, and you have to change this to ht3. That's fine, and now all things are now set. Okay, so let us start. Okay, we have already inserted the data, but I have truncated that. Now let us add one more time the records. That's my details. That's 1000 cache, and then save. Data is added. Okay, let us go to the tables and right click and open these details. So hopefully the things are now coming on the line. So look, the user ID is there and the type is cache, so the data is inserting appropriately. And let's go to the vendor and edit and see the data is there also. Same. And now what you have to specify, you have to come here and first of all go to the billing window, select all these and make them enabled false by default, enabled false, and also these are enabled false. So select these 2 again and come here and enabled false. Okay, so now that's all set. Now let us go to the procedure that we are creating. Let me open that. Not this one. Okay, close this. Yes, here at this point you need what? You need the type and you need the user. So now you can case when cl dot, you look, you don't have cl underscore type displaying right now because the IntelliSense is not updated. So cl underscore type, you can verify from this point. Yes, cl underscore type. So if this cl underscore type is equals to 0, then what you have? Cache. Else what you have? Credit, and then end as type. Okay, so that's one case. And then the user ID, so for that purpose you need cl underscore user ID and specify comma and then u dot name as user. Okay, so and one more thing that you have to specify, no, nothing you have to specify. Let us verify in the columns. Do we have the user ID there? Yes, we have to specify the user ID also. So let us go and do that. One more column you have to make mention here is u dot user ID. Okay, as user ID. That's it. So all details are now will be fetched when you select, when you execute this procedure. Okay, so one more thing that I must mention here, the data that you load, I haven't loaded the debit, credit and balances. Okay, I just wanted to display the records, simple. One more thing that you can do here is to apply the order by cl dot id descending. Okay, and you only retrieve the top 10 records, that's it. Okay, you don't need to display all the records. If you wish to display, you can do it later on, but right now I'm only getting the top 10 records. So get ledger underscore top 10, simple. Okay, so that's fine. Execute. Commands completed successfully. Based on this procedure, I will load these details on my grid view. Okay, so come here and you have to write at this point get sales invoice here at this point, uncomment these things, and what you need to add here, simple, the columns. First remove this stored procedure, add your stored procedure, copy it and paste it. The first column that you have is the customer ID, so you have to pass here what, customer ID GV. Then you have, that's my grid column. Okay, and then customer, then shop ID. Here you have to pass your grid view column, so cust GV, then shop ID GV, then shop GV. Okay, and then you have the date, description, type, so date GV, then you have the description GV, where we have DSC description GV. No, it's not coming. Details GV, I think. Yes, that's the case. Copy. After details GV, you have more some columns. So details, then type, user ID, user. So you have to specify here type GV, and then user ID GV, and then here you should write user. Okay, user GV, that's it, and all the data should be loaded when this function is called. Okay, so load sales invoice, where you have to call this load sales invoice. So let me call here at this point, so load sales invoice, simple, and nothing to pass here at this point. Alright, so all things are now set. Let us go. Okay, one more thing that you have to do, you have to copy this code and you have to click this on the view button. Also you have to add this code on the view button, copy and go to the view button and paste. So the last top 10 records will be fetched. Let us see. You can give the option that you can load all the records. Okay, so login and then sales invoice and then view. Look, the data is there but the amount is missing. Yes, I have skipped the amount. Okay, so which amount should be there, and the amount should be the last amount. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to make mention here the amount also. So let us go to the code, and do we call the amount? No, we haven't called the amount. So how can you call the amount? Let us call here at this point. So comma customer ledger dot, what you can get here, the balance, but which balance you have to call. Let us see because okay, let me show you first. Balance, and now if you zoom out it, minimize it, and now when you execute this, see what's the result. So the balance is coming 1000. Okay, how many records you have inside the customer ledger? Let me show you. That's my customer ledger, and edit. I think I have only one record right now. Let me add another record and we'll see what's the balance then coming. Okay, otherwise we have to apply the nested query. So sales invoice and then add, and then ABC garments, again the same customer, and then the amount is 1000, and then credit, save, data saved, and now there are two records coming. Okay, one is for cash, one is for credit. Now what's the balance? Let us see at this point. Execute. So the balance is now coming as 2000, and the records of one customer should not be like this. You have to do something as a different approach to display the records, because you have to count the overall balance, you have to sum up the overall debits, and you have to sum up and display the records with respect to the customer name. So what you can do, you can come here and you can use the group by clause. So for that purpose, group by customer name, c dot customer id, simple, okay, then by c dot customer name. So these are the two columns, and now what I wanted to sum the balance, okay. So the balance, because I have used with respect to the customer, so you have to specify the balance. So what you can do here, you can specify, because balance is at the last, so in order to pick up the actual amount, you have to mention something here. Alright, so at this point I think I should simply display the balance, and I should change this column at this point, last balances, okay. So the last balance of this customer is that, and that customer is that, so you can specify the last balance at this point. So let us close this and come here, and we have added a new column with the name balance, and then specify execute, okay, make it alter because I have already executed, executes what it is saying that, okay. Remove this group by clause, I have checked the group by clause, now it's fine, okay. Now you have to come here and add another column at the top, that is copy and paste, and here you have to write balance GV or amount GV, okay. So you have to write here amount GV, simple, okay. Now let us see what's the result. Login, sales invoice, view, okay. So the amount is coming, but I wanted to display the amount in the summarized manner with respect to every customer. So guys, let us change the things here, and let us do some more precise work at this point, at this SQL part. So I wanted to load the customers, I wanted to load the details, and with respect to those details, what I can do, if I can use here select one thing, let me change it, copy this or create a new query. You can write here select from customers, simple, and then come here inside this, okay. Now you can write here select top one from customers and CC inner join customer ledger CCLL on CC dot customer ID is equals to CCLL dot customer ID, okay. Select top one, what, select top one balance CCLL dot balance order by CCLL dot ID descending, where, okay, where should come before the order by. So where CC dot customer ID is equals to, look, that's the subquery and that's my outer query. So I have to pass every customer's ID here. So I can pick up from C dot ID. So the outer query will pass the ID to the inner query every time, and the inner query will fetch the result, the last record of the balance of that customer, okay. So what you have to specify here, you have to specify here as balance, and then you have to specify here C dot customer ID Okay, put comma. Now c dot customer ID, and you can use the same columns that you have used in that query. So customer ID, close this, come here. Okay, you need customer ID, so copy it and you can paste it here. I'm putting the same columns. Okay, and then you need the shop ID and the shop. So for that purpose you need to make the join. So inner join, so let us use the inner join between the shop. Copy it step by step. I am regenerating or optimizing my query for better results. So what I need now, come here and copy these two columns and now paste here. Now what you need after shop, you need the date and the description, so copy, but the date and the description should not coming here because the data is not binded here. So let me write here at this point. Look, it is not coming because you have to put the inner join with respect to customer ledger and the users also. So copy it and paste it here. And you have to specify the other columns now. So date you have picked up, description you have picked up. Okay, but the problem is you don't need to specify the description at this point because when you are displaying the overall record, then the description is of the particular thing. Okay, so for that purpose I am removing the description column from here. So the details remove. Okay, the total balance will be displayed. Okay, and then posted by should be removed. You only going to see the overall implementation, what is the balance of which customer. Okay, so what else you have to remove? User ID GV you have to remove, that's it. So I have removed these columns. So come here and you don't need user ID now, so remove this one. You don't need description, so remove this one. You have the balance. Okay, so customer ID, customer name, shop ID, shop name, then date. So which date should be there? There should be no date because you are getting the overall records. Okay, so it's better to remove the date also. So date and then click OK. So date is also removed. Now the customer, the amount, the type should also be not there because what is the last transaction type? We are getting the overall records, so we should not show the type also. So come here and remove the type also. Okay, remove this and then click OK. So look guys, how things are wiped out from the situation. So you don't need the type. So let us select first and see the result. Now look, same records, and if you write here distinct, it will get the what is saying that the order by items must appear in the select list if the select distinct is specified. So you have to specify this ID at this point. So it is saying me to select the ID. So CL dot, what is the name of the, yes, CL dot ID. Now check. Okay, remove this order by. You don't need to write order by. Now it's fine. Look, so the total balance of that customer is this. Now if I write if I enter here a new customer, then the record should be something different. Okay, so all the balances of all the customers should be displayed when you save the sales invoice. Simple. So that's what I have done. Now instead of this all, I am removing this and I am copying this at this point. Simple. And then click execute. Commands completed successfully. Now you have customer ID. Let us go to the billing window. You have customer ID, customer, shop ID, shop. You don't need date, you don't need details, you don't need type, you don't need user ID. So remove these all, the user. Okay, and that's it. Fine. And then come here and then execute. Let us go and add another customer with respect to DEF shop. So login, customers, add customer name, let's say Muzammil, belongs to shop DEF, email is something like this, and the phone number is something this, and then save. Muzammil added now. And now let us go to the sales invoice and then click add and then click DF garments. Muzammil is there. Details, amount 5,000 rupees. Okay, cash and then save, added. Now look, the total Bilal balance is appearing, the total Muzammil balance is appearing, but the data is you have to make the balance should come here. And what's the problem? Yes, this should be the date column. So the date is appearing here. So why the date is appearing here? Because I have specified the date. So remove this date. Okay, and also you have to rename this procedure because you are not now loading the top 10 procedure, top 10 records. So date is removed, balance, execute. So come at this point. Do we have the date? No, we don't have the date. Now that's fine, and let's see. Login, sales invoice, view. Now it's fine. So the customers are appearing along with the details, and this is the shop. Okay, so this is a general overview of the records, and because this is the accounting part, so I am not going to update. Once the thing is inserted, then it is inserted. Now you have to do the reverse entry so that you can trace it later on what you have done mistakes on, or what wrong entries you have done. So that's all. Let us add another sales invoice for the Bilal, for this customer Muzammil. Okay, now I am going to add 1000 and then cash and then click save. So look, the amount is updated to 6000. So the balance is updated every time. So you have to specify the balance here. Okay, come here at this point and you can change its name to from amount to total balance. So this is how you can see from this window. You can see what are the balances of your customers overall. Okay, so hopefully you have understood this. We have successfully created the billing invoice or the sale invoice, and now in the next video I will demonstrate how can you create a sales return window. Okay, so that if somebody is coming to you and he or she is returning some products or some inventory, then how can you handle that? And one more thing that I can show you, that how can you do the payment option. Okay, so the payment should be there also. So the same window will be created but in the reverse order. Okay, so today I am stopping here. If you don't understand anything, please write me. Thank you so much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.